Welcome back to another video. Today, I finally got my hands on the JF-17 Thunder, which I'm pretty sure is a Chinese aircraft. It's kind of like a Temu version of the F-16, I suppose, in terms of its performance and handling. Feels kind of similar, but it has an interesting ability. An ability that if you're into edging, then this is the aircraft for you. So we're going to be taking a look at this thing. One of its traits is the expert cannons, which allows for, I guess, it's kind of like the Mirage 2000, where it has a ton of damage, but if it overheats, it stays overheated for a much longer time. So it takes a much longer time for the cannons to cool down so you can refire them. But it does a tremendous amount of damage. Not as much as the Mirage 2000, that thing is like on a whole other level. But it does do significant damage in the burst that you can unleash on another aircraft. It's got, of course, active radar missiles. Range is only 7 kilometers instead of 7.5, but it's really not that bad. And of course, you got your typical infrared short-range heat seekers at 2.9. And yeah, and the actual ability itself is called Edge Boost, which has a default 30-second cooldown, and it allows you to essentially get close to terrain, tap the ability, get a quick little thrust from the aircraft, which increases your, as you can see, your max speed and your acceleration. But the closer you are to terrain, it should lower the actual cooldown. So its default is 30 seconds. If you were just flying in the sky and you pop this thing off, you get a quick boost for like half a second, and then you'd be waiting 30 seconds to activate it again. The idea behind this ability is that you want to kind of chain them together off of terrain by being close to terrain. As it's kind of like if you were to take advantage of like Daredevil turning, right, which allows you to, within 300 meters of terrain, you get a boost to your turn rate. It's the same idea, but instead it's a boost to your speed and your thrust. So we're going to go ahead and pop into a match. I'm going to demonstrate it a little bit. A little bit of spoilers ahead of time. I'm kind of disappointed in this aircraft, but we'll get into it when we're actually in a match. Okay, so here we are playing air superiority, and we're going to be taking the JF-17 through its paces. So I'm going to go ahead and just demonstrate the ability. If you're close to terrain, you'll see a little bonus at the bottom there, 100% terrain bonus, meaning that I get the maximum potential cooldown speed, which lowers it to 3 seconds, right? I can trigger it. There it is again, 3 seconds. You can see it doesn't last very long. It's a very quick boost. Oh wow, that bridge got in my way. But you can see the cannons are pretty devastating. But the reason why I'm a little disappointed in this aircraft, and this guy's chasing me, isn't he? Yeah, there he is. Let's just whip around and get him. I mean, the actual performance profile of this aircraft is great. Like, it has amazing energy retention. It's probably one of the best aircraft in energy retention, where turning, you don't really have to use your afterburners as much to maintain your ideal turn speed. And like, I love aircraft like that, where you basically have to put in minimal effort to get this thing to behave and turn as quickly as possible. But my I guess beef with this aircraft is that it doesn't feel like Edge Boost works properly all of the time. And that is my issue. So, oh my god, we're getting absolutely annihilated here. Where sometimes you'll get the 100% boost bonus, and then other times you don't. And I don't understand why that is. Like, it really feels like a lot of the time. Let's kill this guy real quickly. There we go. I don't know why that guy's not even trying to shoot me. See, I'm like using it right now to just be evasive. And I am getting the bonus. And I'm gonna go after B now, because I know this guy. Oh, okay. I don't know why he didn't go for it. So like, it's working wonderfully right now, but there's plenty of times you'll be close to something, you activate it, and you don't get the 100% speed bonus, like terrain bonus. And it happens more frequently than I would like, to the point where sometimes it actually screws me up. Like right there, you know, 75%, but why? Why only 75% when I feel like I'm kissing the terrain? Like, we'll try it right here. Okay, 100%, so that worked. But it's one of those things you gotta, like, pay attention to. Oh, the bridge. The bridge every time. There's a lot of times where I just, like, I've been playing around with this jet, and especially on, like, Stone Forest, that's probably one of the biggest offenders for a map. If the map comes up anytime soon, I'll probably demonstrate it as well, but those stone pillars that, like, make up the Stone Forest map, you'll kind of feel like they don't work, right? Like, you'll come up on the pillar, and you'll activate it, and then it'll just be like 0% bonus, and you're like, well, hang on, if I was any closer, I'd be crashing into it, kind of thing. And I feel like that a lot when using this aircraft. It feels like a lot of the times I will hit the terrain, like that, 25%, but I was right there, man. Like, I don't understand. I actually don't understand. It's kind of feels like the depending on the geometry of the world, like where you are, some of it won't be recognized. Like, it's almost like how do I explain this? Imagine, if you will, there is like a pillar, like you kind of just saw right there. And in that pillar, let's say the terrain is like 100, 200 meters wide. That pillar is 200 meters wide. Instead of calculating your distance from the actual edge of that pillar, it's almost like it's pushing more towards the center. So let's say within 50 meters inside that terrain, it's actually determining the distance from, like, from the middle of that pillar is the calculation of how far you are from it, instead of the actual edge or the surface of the pillar. So it's not giving you an accurate measurement or an accurate reading when you activate the ability, which then tells you, oh, you're not getting 100% terrain bonus, even though you're literally skimming the surface of the terrain as you activate it. That's the one thing that kind of, you know, breaks this jet apart for me, is like, I can't continuously, unless it's a very obvious spot on the map, like the middle of Crimson's, like this map here, you could see like that pillar, that little bridge in the middle, like right above B, like that has great reception of me activating the ability. But like, it depends on the map and it depends on the terrain, and like there's some areas where you could be really close to the terrain and it doesn't register as a close terrain bonus. It'll just be like, oh, here's your 75%, or here's your 80%, or your 50%. But like I said, you're practically skimming the ground, the terrain. You any closer and you're hitting it, you know, in some areas of the maps. So it's a little bit off-putting to have an ability that relies so heavily on that, but it misses more times than it actually works when it counts. And for me, that is a problem. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed in this aircraft. So we'll go ahead and make another example. I'll play another game. Oh, hang on, I got some mastery up here. And probably wait for a different game mode. Yeah, so it looks like Stone Forest will be next. So I'll go ahead and play that. Okay, so here we are, Team Deathmatch on Stone Forest. I want you to pay attention to just below my aircraft when you look at the terrain bonus, and I'm going to try to demonstrate as clearly as I can the inconsistencies and actually utilizing the terrain for a boost. So like 88% there, right? I mean, I'm not really going to focus on trying to perform well, because my main goal is going to be just showing off the actual boost. Not always consistently registering. Oh, that was close. But it really does seem like you'll be close to terrain, you'll activate it, and then it doesn't want to like that. right? How come before it was 100% and right there it was only 88%? That's kind of what I'm talking about, right? I need health. Oh crap. This is a rocky situation. Because of, you know, all the stone, all the rocks. No? Okay, I'll show myself out. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not loving this aircraft just because of its inconsistent performance with its ability. And it's a shame because it would actually be really useful. Like, when it works beautifully, right? Like, you can see it. Oh wow, he survived that? I thought for sure he was gonna die. Let's see if we can ambush these guys. Well, this is not going out very well. There we go. Like 63%. Let's go whip around here. Get close. It's on cooldown. Hang on. Pop above. There's 100%. Where's this guy? See, like, even there. I don't know what the percentage was. I didn't get to see it. Paying way too much attention, trying not to get killed. Okay. Last kill. Ah. Well, I mean, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I think I demonstrated it well enough. Just the inconsistencies of the ability working to its full potential, even though you are close to terrain, doing exactly what you would expect to be doing to get the 100% bonus, and it not working every single time. It's the only caveat about this aircraft. It's the one thing that kind of bothers me, that kind of makes me not want to use it as much. Because it's unsatisfying when you're close to terrain, you activate the ability, and it's like, oh well, like, here's your 60% cooldown. When, like I showed kind of towards the beginning when I respawned, it was 100%, and then it was like, what, 68% or whatever it was when I was at the same distance to the terrain as I was the first time. That inconsistency makes this aircraft kind of a pain to fly for using its ability. Excluding its ability, its overall performance, it's like it's a light fighter, I think it is, right? Yeah, it's a light fighter. It behaves like I said earlier, like a Tamu version of an F-16. It's got much nicer cannons though. It has great energy retention, but the speed is like, it's okay. You know, it's not an insanely fast aircraft, but that's fine. It maneuvers well, it performs well. It's got great cannons. You could see that for a while there. I had no missiles on me. I was down to using just my cannons, and I was doing just fine with that alone. It kind of feels like the Mirage 2000 in that sense, utilizing just the cannons, but with better maneuverability. The Mirage 2000 bleeds speed off very quickly. Keeping your ideal turn rate is much, much more difficult, but those cannons are deadly as hell. In this case, the cannons are not quite as deadly, but you have the maneuverability that makes up for the lack of the damage output from the cannons. So it's kind of like this interesting trade-off between those two aircraft. But again, edge boost, man, I wish it was more consistent because it would actually be really cool and useful to string together 3-second delay, like, you know, 3-second cooldown bonuses over and over and over again. But it doesn't happen when sometimes it just doesn't register, right? So that's my little quick summary and overview of the JF-17 Thunder. It's cool, it's nice, but it's probably the, you know, the least, I guess, inspiring. I'm not like, I don't know, man. I think about, like, it kind of reminds me of the Sukhoi 22, which is right here. I was not really a fan of this aircraft. You know, I didn't get it during the black market event. I had to buy it way later on. But it was an aircraft I wasn't like, oh, okay, this is great. It was kind of like, oh, okay, it's a new plane, right? Compared to some of the other ones like the Jaguar and the F1. You know, like there's a bunch of other, the Sukhoi 25, the Tornado. Like there's so many really awesome aircraft that came out in the black market. 2 of them are kind of on my list, and that's the Thunder and the Sukhoi 22. So, I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you guys got your hands on this aircraft or not. I'm curious to see what your opinions are. I mean, I would much rather fly the Sukhoi 47 over this thing. It's fun. I don't know. I'll have to put more time into it. Maybe add some mods and we'll see. But as it stands right now, the edge boost, it's a little lacking. See you guys on the next one.